There's lightning! Right behind the trees! Let's go! Boom! There goes the dynamite!
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather or not. There it is.
Hello, Prince George, Winnipeg, Kamloops, and viewers on Rogers Television. This is the Comedeorological Report. Comedy plus meteorology equals Comedeorology, your show about how much the weather sucks. I'm Joey Only up here in Wells, British Columbia, and we are back with another episode. This is a 145th episode that I have made. There's been more episodes of the Comedeorological Report, but look at my hat. It looks stupid right now. I'm on TV, and I didn't even bother to fix my hat before the show. There you go. We're not the most professional around here, and there you go. Now I have a professional-looking hat. I'm Joey Only up here in Wells, British Columbia. Did I say that already? I probably did. And I'm here with my panel of comedeorologists. Right, this is your weather experts and comedy experts from across Canada and the world. Starting with, we always start the show with the man himself. His name is Frankie McDonald. He's the world's funniest and best weatherman. He will be with us in about 1 minute's time. We have over there in Brooks, Alberta, Brandon Houck, who's here to talk about the tornado outbreak that's happened today. Well, it's not really been a tornado outbreak, but we've had an outbreak in Canada, had an outbreak of tornado warnings, right? And we've had a major weather story that's been going on in Houston just about an hour and a half ago, where maybe 1 million people have lost power. So we'll talk to him and Mark Ingalls about that, meteorologist Mark Ingalls, who's moving to British Columbia. So we're going to be really glad to have him here quite soon. So that more BC meteorology. Yes, that's what we want on this panel. Excellent. And speaking of British Columbia, the cowboy, the archetype of British Columbia North himself, that's Hilding Donaldson, my friend out there in Grassy Plains, BC. So that is who is so far here. More people might show up, as so often do, to talk about the weather from wherever they are. But first, let's talk to the man himself.
Frankie, the weatherman. Frankie, the weatherman. Who?
Frankie!
Who?
Frankie!
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie!
Frankie McDonald. Frankie McDonald, did you see the Northern Lights?
And it was cloudy on last Saturday. Last Saturday, Sydney, Nova Scotia had a whole lot of rain on Saturday night and the Sunday, but it was snow and changing back to rain, things like this. Then it got rain hitting for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Saturday night and the Sunday. And it's Richmond, Virginia is getting a lot of rain on Saturday, so it's going to rain so much rain in Richmond, Virginia down in the States. And it's going to bring a lot of thunderstorms all across eastern United States and America. A lot of rain in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and all those places. It's going to bring a lot of rain in Minnesota next week. And I got something else to say. Even Thunder Bay, Ontario, it's going to bring a lot of rain in Manitoba, Canada as well. Lots of rain going on in Vancouver right now. And snow up in the mountains in southern British Columbia right now. They can still got snow up there, including parts of Idaho next week as well. It's heading towards Idaho, USA. And parts of Wyoming and even Colorado. Mountains, it's going to bring lots of snow there. They got more rain in Vancouver next week on the west coast of Canada. In Seattle, Portland, all those places as well. Then they got really dry weather in Southern California, like Los Angeles, Sacramento, and all those places right now. It's really hot there right now. Even Mexico's really dry and hot. Then they got a lot of wildfires down in Mexico, driving out of dry, smoky wildfire smoke all the way up to Texas and Florida, those places, because wildfires going down in Mexico.
What else, Frankie McDonald?
Then it got a lot of rain heading for Ontario next week as well, including parts of Manitoba, Kenora, Ontario, Keewatin, Ontario, and all those places.
Who has the worst weather in the world, Frankie?
Then it got to bring a lot of rain in South America, lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, and Bolivia. And right now in northern Brazil, lots of storms coming off. There's a big storm in the southern Atlantic Ocean as of right now. And northern Chile is really, 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 really dry. It's getting drier in southern Chile. Then they got more rain heading for there. And a little bit of rain on the coast areas of southern Chile and snow up in the mountains there as well. And it's really cold in Argentina next week as well. Southern Argentina. Lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in South America. Then they got some rain and showers going on in France next week, including France, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Italy, Bosnia, and Croatia, and all these countries as well. Up in Norway, it's warm and mild, and they got some rain up in northern Norway, and it's dry in Finland, Sweden as well. In England, it's drier than normal in England right now.
Be prepared.
But a little bit of showers in the forecast. It's lots of rain going on in Romania and all those places as well.
Hurricane warning. Earthquake warning. Hurricane warning.
There's a lot of rain in southern China right now. Then you got some storms coming off the coast of northern Japan, and lots of rain in southern Russia and North Korea. And South Korea is really, really dry as of right now. South Korea is soon be in the rainy season. There's a lot of rain and thunderstorms going on in Thailand next week, around the Memorial Day weekend. Then it's got lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, Thailand. They'll be entering the rainy season. Lots of thunderstorms in Indonesia and Philippines. They'll be in the rainy season soon. Or there's a lot of rain in southern India right now. It's extremely hot there right now in India and Pakistan and Bangladesh and all those places. And soon be the rainy season in India. And lots of rain going on in lots of showers. Some showers going on in Mozambique and Madagascar, Africa right now. In Middle East, there are lots of showers going on in southeastern Middle East. Over in Ethiopia, there's a lot of showers in the forecast in Ethiopia right now. In northern Africa, there's a lot of rain in Ghana and in Nigeria and those places. A lot of thunderstorms in the forecast. And in southern Africa, there's a lot of rain going on in Gabon. It's really dry in Namibia and South Africa, Botswana, and Angola right now. In parts of Mozambique and Tanzania, they're entering dry season right now.
Frankie, have you ever tried to yodel before? Can you yodel for us?
In the Southwest Pacific, is so lots of rain going on in southern New Zealand right now. Then you got some heavy rain next week for Auckland, New Zealand, all those places. Then you got some rain in Invercargill, New Zealand as well. Then you got some showers off the East Coast of Australia. Their winter's coming up on June 21st, June 20th. Then you got cold air aiming towards Sydney, Australia on Friday. It's really dry in Central Australia and Western Australia, including Perth, Australia, and Papua New Guinea. A lot of rain and thunderstorms going on right now. There will be Indonesia and Papua New Guinea will be in dry season soon. And Mike posted it's officially 24-hour darkness where he's at right now. And
Officially 24-hour darkness in Antarctica, says Mike posting. This is the Comedeorological Report. It's Thursday the 16th. So if you're hearing us on TV and radio, obviously if you're watching the live stream on Joey Only Caribbean Weather Dude YouTube channel, you would know that right now it's May 16th, but you might not know that if you're listening to it in the radio in a couple of days. So do remember that we are recapping the stories of the week. Frankie, people are desperate to know, was the Northern Lights caused by evil scientists? Was it caused by evil scientists collaborating with dark ops
somebody
military?
made a video edited me about it's known in Sydney, Nova Scotia yesterday. But they had a silent parking lot, dualies in Steel City. It's not true. It's somebody making stuff up, making video edits.
Were the Northern Lights caused by evil scientists collaborating with dark ops military personnel, Frankie? Is it a government conspiracy?
According to Nelson Peabody, Billy Bones will be arrested at City Ref Fest on July 32nd of this year. It's not true. The Ref Fest is on July 12th, 13th, 14th.
Yeah, July 32nd to 34th, I heard.
According to Nelson Peabody.
Calves will never be delicate and friendly, even though you...
I didn't see werewolf on Prince Street, PetSmart in Sydney, Nova Scotia. I did not see werewolf.
What would a hungry owl sound like eating ribs, Frankie? Andrew wants to know. So everybody make sure you head to Sydney Rib Fest on the 32nd of July this year.
July 12th, 13th, 14th.
July 36th, he says.
On July 12th, 13th, 14th. 2024.
So, Frankie, what happened in Houston, Texas tonight?
A lot of power outages where Trey Campbell used to live. Now he lives in Austin.
Now he lives in Austin, Texas, Trey Campbell. Yes, so anybody got questions for Frankie about stealing Wi-Fi and things like that?
Yeah, Frankie. I don't know if you heard that I am moving to Canada, and I want to know in Vancouver, British Columbia, which is the best Tim Hortons to steal Wi-Fi from?
You have to go to certain Tim Hortons. You have to go to any Tim Hortons store.
Any Tim Hortons store you can steal Wi-Fi from. Frankie
I'll
said.
steal their Wi-Fi while I eat their little flatbread pizza. And their,
It's a free Wi-Fi.
bar.
No, I wouldn't eat the flatbread pizza.
I had it on Tuesday. It's actually like for $8, it's pretty good. Like
Is
it's
that
not the
all?
best pizza in the world, but $8 for this little flatbread pizza with bacon on it, like I'm here for it.
Any other questions for Frankie McDonald? Michael McGregor's just
I
joining
just
us.
joined.
And,
I was
we'll
in
be-
St. James, checking out the hail damage.
Oh yeah, well, we'll be asking you about the storms in Manitoba tonight. So bear with us, Michael. Do you have questions for Frankie though right now, or anybody else? Hauk, Hilding, do you got questions for Frankie? No, I guess not. I guess no one. Michael, you got no questions. You got
Yeah, Frankie. Do you see any crazy apocalyptic hailstorms for Winnipeg again? Like
Yes,
what
I've
we
seen
saw today?
pictures of it, and I'll be seeing video on YouTube later.
What would a gorilla sound like if it was singing an opera, Frankie?
What about the Incredible Hulk? What would the Incredible Hulk sound like if he was singing an opera?
Wow.
And there's a gorilla singing the opera. So that would be Figaro! Figaro! Kind of like that, right, Frankie? All right, Frankie McDonald. We'll be back with Frankie McDonald in a little bit here, including Frankie's new videos of the week. But we got to keep moving on as the show has lots to talk about. Brandon Hauk. So you had the storms. We're gonna have your take on the storms in the eastern or the western part of the prairies. Then in a little bit we'll have Michael McGregor's take on the storms on the eastern part of the prairies. So we had some tornado warnings in the prairies today. But what else has been going on this week, Brandon Hauk? How are you doing? The Brandon Hauk Report.
Oh, the bread.
The Brandon Hauk Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Hauk Report.
Yeah, the Brandon Hauk Report. Sound a little raspy today because we've suffered a head cold, so I'll probably step out half an hour into the show here. But
Oh, that's right. That's right.
yes, so I cannot make gorilla noises or anything. So I've already been doing tornado coverage today, and that almost knocked me out already today. So yeah, that was wild day today. We've had some pretty good weather, but there were some times where we've had a couple of storms going by here and there across the south. But today was definitely. Yesterday we had some fairly strong winds rip into the area last night and producing gusts of 70 to 80 kilometers an hour. So that was a story last night in our area. And now we've got a storm that is actually, I'm going to probably run out and check it out here in just a second here when I'm done here. We got a storm developing just to my southwest that's sneaking into the area and already has some lightning strikes to it. So, yeah, my day's not quite done just yet. So I'll probably run out, check that out, see what's going on. But we had a couple of storms develop to the north of us, especially actually developed right off the foothills and then moving into our area, producing tornado warnings. In the Hannah area, doesn't look like we had an actual touchdown, but we did have some hail and some strong winds with these storms that ripped across the Highway 9 corridor there. And then we also had tornado warnings in southwestern Saskatchewan today with a rotating wall cloud that was spinning around pretty good earlier today. And then looks like southern Manitoba had a few tornado warnings in the last hour as well. So quite a busy day across the prairie provinces today with the active weather, the cold front going through. Now it's snowing up in the Icefields Parkway here this evening. And we're going to see, cold air mass really start to take over tonight and tomorrow. We were like 24 degrees here in Brooks today. And now we're seeing our temperature start to slide. Tomorrow we'll probably only get to 10 for daytime highs, so that's what we're going to be experiencing there. And then we'll see the rain, sloppy, messy mix through the day, And we'll also be dealing with, once again, snow in the higher elevations. Might even get some wet snow in Calgary tomorrow morning. So we'll keep an eye on that as that temperature decides to drop right off there. And also, we're also going to be dealing with that cool air mass sticking around for the long weekend. So daytime highs staying in the teens and some showers, some more thunder showers. And we could perhaps see a little more wet weather into next week. So looking like a cool, unsettled pattern as we move on into next week. Now, a couple of stories from this week here. We had they put this portal thingy out for New York and Dublin, and it got shut down because of inappropriate behavior. So that was
I saw that people were showing pornos to each other and things like that. And so as you can see, there's like a mix of snow and rain happening right now out my window in Wells. And that sound you're hearing in the background, that click, click, blump, click, is actually my house leaking so loudly that I've had to mute my microphone in order to conduct a show.
Yeah.
What else you got, Brandon?
What else I got? Well, I a good story for this week. A guy in Tuna, Saskatchewan, a farmer there, he found some space metal in his farmyard. So he tried to contact SpaceX. They didn't get back to him. So now he's selling that space junk or space material. And now he's going to all the money that he makes off that space material is going to donate back to the community to make a brand new hockey arena for Ituna, Saskatchewan. So I thought that was a cool story.
Is it going to catch that much money? I mean, I saw a picture of it. It's like a decent size, but really it's going to capture enough money to build a hockey stadium? I mean, a small one, obviously, but
yeah, probably more so for renovations. I'm not sure how.
Yeah, I don't know if Ituna, Saskatchewan has a hockey stadium.
Yeah, stadium was the wrong word.
Yeah, you know, they maybe have a hockey rink of some sort.
Hockey
yeah,
rink,
sure. Yeah, the community,
gonna be able to afford a new pedal powered. Gonna be able to afford a new pedal powered Zamboni.
Before we leave you, Hauk.
Yeah.
And we jump over to Mark, because we're going to talk to Mark about this as well. I'd like you to talk about the wind event that's happened in Houston in the last hour and a half, almost 2 hours, hour and a half. Crazy wind event in Houston.
Yeah, big wind event. I think there was actually, I did see a video evidence of tornado touchdown as well with that. So I did see that on the X there. Looks like a pretty good little tornado out of that. But the big story, yeah, definitely damaging straight line winds blowing right into the city there, at least strong enough to blow a lot of windows out of the office buildings and the skyscrapers and such. So that was an intense radar presentation to watch today. Oh wow.
I saw a couple of videos on Twitter of the windows being blown out. I was kind of surprised to see that.
Brandon, what does a tornado siren sound like?
Oh, do you really want to hear that from this raspy voice of mine?
I think it's the perfect time.
That'll make it better.
Siren goes.
There you go. Well, I tried to make a seagull noise a couple weeks ago, and that was terrible. So this is going to be...
I can make a pretty good pig noise.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not going to do it, though. I would make myself sound a little... This is a Comedeorological report, but I don't know if I would make myself look weird with the pig noises.
When we come to the segment on pigs, we will be addressing you in your capacity for pig noises. Mark Ingalls, the weather event in Houston, Texas. Possible tornado touchdown.
Good evening, everyone. I do think that there was a tornado, but really what we're looking at, like Brandon said, is the straight line winds were the big factor there. What happens a lot of times when we get big straight line wind events like this is like there'll be eddies right on the front of where the wind is coming in, and that'll create short-lived tornadoes. Sometimes those are called gustnadoes. I think these would probably be a little bit stronger than what you would typically call a gustnado, just because that straight line wind event was so strong. We're talking winds possibly in excess of 150 kilometers an hour. right through the urban core of Houston. We're like, it went through the suburbs too, but we're talking like the main show of this storm went right through downtown Houston. And I did see a video from a high rise that showed evidence, like Brandon said, that there was some tornadic action going on down there downtown. But it doesn't matter. Like we talked about in the pre-show, it doesn't matter if it's going around in a circle or if it's going straight. 150 km/h winds is going to cause a problem. And so that's what from northwest to southeast across the Houston metro area, which is a huge area, and it's the fourth largest metropolitan area in the United States. I think it's substantially larger than Toronto is. And I've seen pictures of windows blown out in high rises downtown. I don't know if that's actually being blown out or if debris hit it and smashed the windows. Multiple of the large capacity power lines, those towers have fallen over. And so over 1 million customers are without power down there in Houston. And it's a really big deal. That storm has since moved to the east, and the radar signature looks a bit less impressive now as it's heading towards Louisiana. But still something to keep an eye on if you are one of the 5 people watching us on the internet right now and you happen to be in Louisiana or on the Texas Gulf Coast. It's worth watching.
I just saw a video posted on Twitter of glass covering downtown Houston from blown out windows. So if anybody's down there listening to our show, I would not go outside if I were you, especially if you're downtown.
Yeah, put your cowboy boots on so you don't scratch up your feet there. Of course, when the tornado's coming, when I lived in Texas, we were always told to put boots on and put a helmet on when we went into the bathroom to shelter there. So looking a little bit forward, we've got our generally unsettled pattern here in Western Canada, and that's going to continue through the weekend, it looks like. Some cool weather, some shots of light rain. Joey was talking about how they've got some showers working around the BC interior, and that'll kind of continue for a while. Temperatures are quite a bit below average, all the way over to into Alberta as well. That's gonna kind of moderate some early next week as the system making it cooler spreads further east in the prairies or whatever. So the prairies are going to cool down. Ontario and Quebec are going to cool down. They won't be quite as cold below average as BC and Alberta are today, but that'll moderate things some. Above average temperatures.
It's full on snowing out my window now.
Well, yeah, but you live at 1,500 meters. It can snow in July.
Closer to 12.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Still, I'm up
live
there.
On the internet.
You have been corrected live on the internet. So, like millions of people, Mark, you saw the government experiment in effect create the Northern Lights illusion so that people can be convinced that there's climate change, so that the government can take your money because electric cars are part of the conspiracy to own your soul. And
you're right. You're right, actually, and in fact,
make you a libertarian, make you a liberal, and all this.
You're right. Even in my bank account here, I just got the fat check for pushing that agenda. It says here, HARP, climate change, whatever, in my bank account. No, I wish. If I was getting paid,
you get yours from a federal program. I get mine from the province of British Columbia.
That's funny.
It was pretty. It was really incredible, though. We were in Eastern Oregon visiting family, and so we drove up into Eastern Washington. My wife's family lives right on the state line there, and so we drove up outside of Kennewick, Washington, which is in the southeast part of the state. Found a real dark area. This is kind of the area that I used to work on and build weather stations, so I know it pretty well. We found a pole out there on the highway. And Joey, if you want to cue up my video, talk about it. It was just incredible. This was the best and most significant auroral display since 2003.
This will take me a second, but yes, I will. I might as well do it now instead of queuing it up, adding it to the show after. But this.
Okay. Well, I'll keep going. So it was the best display since 2003. I've seen a lot of, this is the best Northern Lights in your lifetime, and I don't think that's actually necessarily true. I think it's more of a once-in-a-generation sort of scenario, because this happened, last week. It happened in 2003. and then it happened in 1989. People will remember when Quebec lost power because of issues with the Northern Lights. This was really incredible. So we're out there. It's about 11 p.m. We had sat out on the Columbia River for a while, but there was just too much light pollution, and so we drove out here outside of Kennewick, and for a while there wasn't a whole lot going on, and so like we're all kind of like, is this another dud? Because in the northern United States, a lot of these Northern Lights events just are so finicky to forecast that we don't see them very well, or we don't see them on the timeline that we had expected. But then at 11 o'clock, almost on the dot, it just lights up the sky, and like you with your naked eye, I mean, with your naked eye, it's not as bright as this. Most Canadians probably know that, but we could literally see like it was casting dim shadows. We could pick out the gravel on the little parking area we were at, and I've never seen the Northern Lights like this before. Like I didn't realize it. The curtains like ripple so quickly. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
on the order.
sometimes they just.
Right,
Frankie,
right, yeah.
We don't have
it
Imogen
was-
here. Frankie, we don't have Imogen here to answer these questions. Are we allowed to say naked eye on the TV?
Means when somebody has an eye, but it doesn't have eyeglasses, that means it can't see. You have to have a special glasses to look at the eclipse.
Woo, woo,
Yes,
naked
that's true, but you
eyes.
don't need your eclipse glasses to see the aurora. That would be a big mistake, because then you won't see it. But it was just
Yeah.
spectacular. And like we were looking up, and because it's so rare, the Northern Lights were directly overhead this part of Washington that we were at. So we weren't watching it on the horizon to the north, which is very common in the US. We're looking straight up into it. And I'd never seen this before, where like the ripples almost create like a concentric like circles going into each other. And
The
like it was
coronal hole is what you saw when you're looking up, and sometimes you can like see the stars in the middle, and everything is just
yeah.
pulsing up to the middle to the coronal hole. Yeah, it's a very that's
you know, the
generally
last
here. That's when I consider that we're having a powerful Northern Lights storm show. If at some point in the night it starts doing that,
That means that
Right.
I
just
personally,
like earlier in the
Right.
week, it got there. You're chasing bears.
early in the week I was chasing bears, Frankie, and you know what happened is today the conservation officer finally was able to trap the bear, and the bear has is being destroyed, if not already. Ian, talk to us about the bear.
The bear has been caught, unfortunately, due to the fact that the bear has been consuming human garbage and is now completely habituated.
Oh,
It-
he's a human, yeah.
It has to be destroyed.
You did it to yourself, buddy.
I called RAP right away and reported him to let him know that he's in the cage.
The correct bear. He's not happy about it. He shouldn't be, because he's about to die today.
You can't move them, they just come back. Or they starve to death in the wilderness now that they're used to human food.
Or they find trouble between here and there. So you can see more about that on Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude. I put up a full video today, some analysis, a retrospective, some lessons learned. The community started to do the right thing, but it was too late by that point. And in the last week, especially, I disappeared for a bunch of days on a standby for Fire Center. Obviously, no fires happen in the Caribou, and obviously I'm home right now and not on standby because it's snowing out my window and been raining and thunderstorming everywhere. So nonetheless, I wasn't home, and during that time the bear got into a bunch of more trash, and then ended up his behavior snowballed very quickly at that point. So last week Friday, I went out to I was going to go up to the top of the mountain, and I went out and I got in my truck, and I hadn't actually been in the truck in some time. And so what happened was there was no power steering fluid, and I couldn't. So I was going to go to the top of Island Mountain where I could get the best all-around view, but I couldn't turn the wheel, unfortunately. So then I stopped at the lake, and I didn't realize that there was somebody down there by the lake, and I must have scared this poor woman. I don't know what she looked like in the dark, and she shone a flashlight in my eyes. I was like, ah, and and she's like, I'm just here, take pictures of the Northern Lights. I was like, yeah, me too. And I think that probably surprised her. So sorry, Karina, whoever you are out there, if you ever do see this episode. You probably won't, because nobody will. Did not mean to scare you, but we both got very lovely photos of the Northern Lights that night, and they did explode. And I've seen them pretty good many times in my life. I will say that, not in a bragging way, but I grew up in a dark place, and I one of my habits as an only child was to go outside at night and look at the stars and spend, and the weather nerdery began very young for me. The fascination with the sky began very young. So these are very lovely time lapse. I try to take time lapse, and none of them came out. So
yeah, I did this on my GoPro, and I wasn't sure if it was going to come out or not. I actually had to slow it down a bit.
It does. It does actually look quite beautiful. You did a really good job of capturing the northern lights there.
I think so.
One thing that was really funny was east of Portland in the Columbia River Gorge. There's what's called the Vista House, which is on this. It's kind of on top of a cliff. It overlooks the Columbia River, the interstates down there at the bottom, and cities to the west, and the gorge and the Cascades are all to the east and whatnot. And it was just an absolute cluster. Like this is on a 2-lane highway. There's maybe a couple dozen parking spaces, and there were easily hundreds of cars trying to smash into this one little area. I heard people were shoving each other and whatnot. And like here I am outside of Kennewick. We are the only people at this pullout. It's me and my in-laws, and so there were probably about 8 of us or 10 of us or something. But nobody else the whole time. A few cars went past on the highway as we were there, but it was spectacular. And then to see online like pictures and video from Crown Point, which is where the Vista House is, and some other places around major cities, like just absolutely stunning. So I did want to talk about, it looks like we may have some severe weather threat for the central US midweek next week. That works. And then coming up on today's the 16th, it's Thursday. So on Saturday, May 18th, that is Mount St. Helens Day. That is the day Mount St. Helens, the volcano in Washington State, erupted in 1980, killing over 50 people and sending an ash plume way off to the east across the entire North American continent. Of course, it was pretty thin ash by the time it got to the East Coast, but where my grandparents and my parents lived in the Kennewick, Washington area in 1980, they had quite a bit of ash. The sky turned so dark at noon that the street lamps came on. And then in Yakima, they had so much ash that when they plowed the streets, they put it at a park downtown, and it was like a 6-foot mound across a whole city block. So Mount St. Helens Day, 1980, May 18, 1980 is when Mount St. Helens erupted cataclysmically. I climbed St. Helens in 2009, and that was a pretty fun experience. I see is it dumping snow there now, Joey?
These are giant snowflakes that are happening right now. Absolutely. These are very, very large snowflakes. If you can't tell people, these are snowflakes. They're so big that you could lose an eye. Your naked eye could be hurt by them. So do not put your naked eye in front of those snowballs. Hilding, have you seen anything like this going on your side? Did you get to see the Northern Lights either? We haven't talked to you at all yet since you came on at 6:30. You've been sitting there for an hour patiently, my good friend Hilding. I do want to talk to you before we talk to Michael about the tornado outbreaks today. It wasn't really an outbreak, but tornado weather. Hilding, you got snow? Anything happened out there? Lightning? Anything?
Well, I came home last night from being gone to a music festival over the weekend, and as I was coming home, I went through multiple gusts the whole way from Prince George to here. You'd go through a gust of snow, and then a heavy downpour of rain, and then it would be drizzling for a while, and then it would clear off, and then I would do it again, cycle after cycle. And it's been doing that here today, and I saw 3 different times where I saw snowflakes like you're seeing out your window here today already. So, yeah, we're getting those types of things. We got a good bit of moisture. Our grass grew like 4 inches while I was gone. So, and you talked about the Northern Lights. I was at the music festival in Clearwater, and the Northern Lights were really clear. Of course, the 3/4 of the way up a mountainside and away from all the city lights and everything. So we got real clear view. And yeah, the whole sky was lit up, like you said, rays all going to the center with a little pocket in the center where you could see the stars. It was really beautiful. The clearest I've ever seen that style of Northern Lights since 1983. 83, I saw them in February that was like that, but they were dancing more. These ones didn't really dance. They moved very slowly, but there was a lot of real spectacular nights, and there's lots of color. Yeah. So.
You and I have seen lights together a few times. I mean, last year when we went out towards Bowron and parked your little wagon there. But also there was an Arts Wells Festival in 2019 where the lights just exploded. And there's like, you were sitting down at my fire pit, you could hear people crying like all over town, like, I've never seen the Northern Lights before, like, whoa, you know, and like people were like just randomly laying on the road.
Yeah.
And also at Music on the Mountain Festival, there was a really great show.
There was one once,
that just exploded on the Saturday night, and it was just so fantastically beautiful. Robson Valley Music Festival, I might have talked about that last week, where there was, no, maybe I didn't. I talked about that somewhere else, where there was, I was with my daughter was only 4 years old, and we were out at my friend's cabin away from the festival. There's a little pond there, and you could see the whole mountain range towards Robson. And there was a thunderstorm out towards Mount Robson, and it was kicking out lightning bolts that were hitting the mountain ridges. And it was August 12th, and the Perseid meteor shower was going on. So there was meteors going on, and there was northern lights happening, and the thunderstorm, and it was just like, oh, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Some people were wondering if the Chesapeake Festival does the trip back Northern Lights. I don't know if it does or not, but it's kind of have to wonder when you see how many times it's happened during a festival.
It seems to be great to happen on weekends. We've been Michael McGregor's been really patiently waiting now, and earlier around about an hour ago, we had tornado warnings that were still in effect in Manitoba, and they've kind of moved on. I don't know if Mike's his camera seems to be off right now. We can also go to Frankie's videos.
I'm here.
Okay, Mike. So tornado warnings are over for today in Manitoba, but you had a big hail event. It seems like in your neighborhood.
Yeah,
as well.
I wrote a little bit of a script out because I have a hard time getting my words together. This afternoon we saw thunderstorms developing in just west of Winnipeg. I was actually kind of surprised because instability numbers were not that high today, and I noticed that Hook was starting to develop on the one northwest of Winnipeg, and then towards later in the afternoon it transitioned into a supercell thunderstorm. Actually had that classic flying eagle look on radar, and by the time I was downtown, had a couple of things I had to do. St. James, my parents said that they were getting pounded with hail the size of marbles and nickels, and some of their trees actually got shredded. And they have tree leaves on their cars, and their entire backyard patio was covered in hail. It was ankle deep in some spots. I was actually kind of surprised because after that, there were more storms up to the west, and those are the ones that one tornado warned. So I think they tapped into some higher levels of instability. It's absolutely bizarre that we saw a hailstorm this early in the season, and I'm going to be honest with you. We normally get our first hailstorm in June, so this is like a month early. I saw they had about 3-inch size hail in Fort Richmond and down towards Linden Woods. I do see a threat for more severe thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and evening. There is a possibility of seeing some supercells, especially western Manitoba towards the central parklands. And then I see a squall line moving up into southern sections of Manitoba towards the evening hours. We were not expecting supercell thunderstorms this afternoon. I guess maybe the instability that we had earlier in the week with the 30-degree highs may have led to that. There's also like a weak front that came through. I'll see if I can share some of the videos on Weather Center Manitoba where I post things. Sorry, I'm a bit tired, guys, but I had a bit of a walk. I had to kind of tour the hail, pick some hail up, and just crazy. It actually kind of looked like we had got snow. Third winter in Winnipeg. We're now officially called Hail Peg.
Well, we don't have hail going on right now in Wells, but we certainly have snow. It is snowing for sure. Frankie, are you ready for your videos?
Yes, I'm ready for
the
the
week?
videos.
So check out that giant snowflakes right now in Wells, BC. Giant! They're huge! They're horrible! They're giant! They'll kill you! Don't get them in your naked eye. Here's Frankie's videos of the week. Frankie McDonald. No one can hear it. So that's Frankie's book. It's got 48 pages. Where are you, Frankie? If Frankie was here right now, we could have him narrate.
It's working now.
This is book.
Life, weather, and everything.
You can hear it now. I can't.
It's a great book. It has 48 pages. It has lots of information about me when I was a kid and weather reports and autobiography of me. I got a copy of my book right here. I'm showing you a copy of my book. Be prepared, Frankie. Don't got life, weather, and everything. It's a great book all the time. I'm holding in my hand as right now. This is a great book. Be prepared, Frank Down Guy, life, weather, and everything from Frank Down. Okay, guys, we're gonna do a guy acting like a lion.
Scary lion. If he was in Wells, I would definitely chase him out. For his own good.
Thanks for watching. Frank Down. Okay, guys, let's do a gorilla. And me acting like a gorilla.
I'm not sure if you can hear this. I'm not sure if anyone can hear this. For the radio listeners,
I hear it.
Okay, everyone can hear it. For the radio listeners, Frank acting like a gorilla. And the Oscar for acting like a gorilla goes to Frankie McDonald.
It's weird because he got the Oscar for work acting like a lion, too.
Wonder where Frankie learned to act like a gorilla.
Frankie, I envy the level of self-confidence that you have.
Thanks for watching, Frank Down.
That was a great video.
Hey everybody, my dad, Frank McDonald, made his latest song on SoundCloud, Safe and Sound. He wrote the lyrics all by himself, he played the guitar all by himself, he recorded his song. He wrote his own song all by himself on his SoundCloud. Mystic Miss, my dad, Frank McDonald, made his latest song on SoundCloud. Mystic Miss, the title of his song is Safe and Sound. My dad, Frank McDonald, played the music all by himself, recorded the song all by himself, mastered the song, and he wrote his own lyrics all by himself. His latest song is Safe and Sound from Frankie McDonald. Nelson Peabody, according. This is Frankie McDonald, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Heavy rains head towards Richmond, Virginia, and the surrounding areas on Saturday, May the 18th, 2024. It's going to bring a lot of rain in Richmond, Virginia, and surrounding areas. I want every single person in Richmond, Virginia to be extra prepared. Make sure you wear your rain gear, rubber boots, and raincoats to keep you dry. When you go for a walk, don't even walk too far. Because there's going to be a lot of heavy rain in Richmond, Virginia on Saturday, May 18th, 2024. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain that could cause sewers to back up the streets in Richmond, Virginia, and the surrounding areas. That streets, roads, highways, and interstate highways will be wet in Richmond, Virginia, and surrounding areas as well. Make sure to don't walk through the puddles. Avoid the puddles to go for a walk for people living in Richmond, Virginia. If you have anybody living in Richmond, Virginia, be prepared for heavy rain on Saturday, May 18th, 2024. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in heavy rain. Stay, drive you safe.
I have a question for Frankie. Frankie, what is your favorite animal to act like?
The dog.
I should have known that.
If I had the opportunity on a live stream, I would act like a cat the entire time.
Well, you have the opportunity. I mean, no one's stopping you. You get to be your own character. That's the beauty of life, you know. Look at the snow! Ah!
It looks like
Totally.
it's accumulating outside, like on your trees and stuff too.
Well, look at on the car, a broken window on the car. So it's getting on the plastic on the window on the broken window on the car.
How'd you break your window?
I didn't break it. My kids broke it. But they didn't really
Sounds
mean
about
to.
right.
Well, she slammed the door. You know, I'm like always telling the kid, don't slam the door. Don't, you could break a window. I mean, I'm just saying these things your grandmother said. You don't even believe it yourself. Just like, don't slam the door. It just seems like a bad idea to slam the door. Then one day they slam the door. The back window goes, ksh. Your daughter's like,
Oh no.
your daughter's like,
How old your daughter?
she's 11. You know, Dad, I didn't mean to do it. And I'm like, this is my reaction's like, hey, the back window's broken. Okay.
Better write a letter over to ICBC there.
I guess so.
Do you think do you think ICBC plans include children?
Well, you know, I have no idea. And honestly, I went 14 days in a fire, and you know how it is. I'm like 12 hours a day at the fire, and then when we're not at the fire, we're trying to get something to eat together. We're trying to get laundry. You're always with your crew. You're going everywhere, doing everything together. You got errands to run. It's like, you know, I need new shoelaces. Somebody needs new shoelaces. So we got, you know, 10 minutes before stores close when we get back to Williams, like, you know, that kind of stuff, right? And it just becomes really impossible. And now I do have a cell phone number now, as of a couple of days. So that's incredible. I once again do have a cell phone number. So that means I can go check what everyone's saying at times now when I'm not necessarily near Wi-Fi. But I've also lived.
That means you can join Instagram now, Joey.
Yeah, you know, I'll try, but it's like I say, when it's fire time, it's really, and even while we were just on standby this week, it was still really hard because I got to get down there and we get up in the morning and we just do everything together, right? We went on some hikes together, we go shopping together, whatever. We hang out as a crew all day together. That's what we do, and that's.
Hey, Joey, you can even join TikTok.
No, I cannot. I cannot.
Joey, are you going to try and compete with all of the 20-year-old Instagram influencers?
Yeah, well, that's just it, right? Like, nobody cares what I think on YouTube or Facebook, so why would they care on Instagram? Right?
Well, just find your nearest 23-year-old female friend and have her. You write the script for her, and then they will care what she thinks, which will be what you think.
I do not have any 23-year-old friends.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, that's one of my rules.
I'm 28. I'm pretty close to 23.
Okay, well, you're watch it. I'm watching you.
And did you hear about that country, Turkmenistan? That's outside of Russia. No internet's allowed in that country. Turkmenistan.
Turkmenistan. That's where the mighty Turkmen.
Turkmenistan. No internet's allowed. No social media's allowed in that country.
Yeah, well, they had, Turkmen was the guy's name, right? Turkmen Bashi. He was, you know, the funny thing is, it's like the weirdest dictatorship in history, and people are strangely happy in Turkmenistan too. You know, like the Turkmen Bashi. I don't even remember the rules he's got. He's got rules.
When people enter North Korea, you're not even allowed to talk to locals over there.
Like I think
My dad went to North Korea once.
I think every month of the year is now called Turkmen Bashi, you know, something like that. Like it's just like it's ridiculous dictatorship too.
What is Turkmen Bashi?
You don't know who Turkmen Bashi is?
I have no idea what Turkmen Bashi is.
That's the name of the guy. He was the leader of Turkmenistan. Turkmen Bashi, and that's okay. Like, give me a second here, and I will find you some examples of weird laws in
While you do that, I have a question for Hilding. What constitutes the Hilding Nacho Special?
I'm not quite sure what the question is.
What did you put on your nachos tonight?
I just put chips and nacho cheese on a plate and put it in the microwave tonight. Sometimes I put it in my toaster oven. It's a little bit better that way.
So you just wanted it quick tonight.
In Turkmenistan, only
Okay,
men
so-
above the age of 70 are allowed to have a beard. So, Hilding, you would have to cut off your beard if you wanted to move to Turkmenistan. So former
wow.
Turkmenbashi, he banned the playing of video games, listening to car radios, performing opera and ballet, smoking in public, long hair on men, and even growing facial hair. So,
Oh my gosh.
Internet and social
I
media
wouldn't be able to
standard for
survive without
Turkmenistan.
those things.
What about over in Afghanistan and Iran? Western culture is completely banned in Iran.
one of the least visited countries in the world. It's 80%
That
desert.
sounds like the least friendliest country in the world.
No, the thing is, people in Turkmenistan are happy. But it does have Hell's Gate. It's also the Darwaza crater. It's like a giant crater that goes straight to hell. So that's there. If you've ever heard of the burning gas hole,
And the one that's not Joey.
right? So the capital city Ashgabat has the most white marble buildings in the world. I think the funny thing is that white marble isn't in Turkmenistan. So the Book of the Soil, the Runama, is the name of Sapir Merat Niyazov, was the president of Turkmenistan. He was Turkmenbashi. He had his book called the Book of the Soul. It was mandatory to be studied in schools and officers and new job applicants. Everyone was ordered to recite the Runama. So
That means only essential travel to food is allowed in Turkmenistan.
The book was even launched into space in August 2005. So it's supposed to orbit the Earth for the next 150 years.
It's probably burned to the earth by now. Same thing with that satellite that Mark Ingles or Brennan who talked about earlier.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that book's gonna last longer than some Elon Musk space junk.
Yeah, the months of the year. January was renamed Turkmenbashi, and February as Baydak after the Turkmen flag. April is now Gurban Sultan after his mother. So the month of April is literally the name of Turkmenbashi's mother, and it's quite something. So if you never heard of, and there's a national holiday for melons. Dirty cars are not allowed, and carpets hold a lot of. There's a ministry of carpets even.
Well, don't they still make those really neat, like Persian style, like tapestries and stuff?
Yes, well, that's exactly. So they have a ministry of carpets because they want quality control. So I mean, it sounds ridiculous, the ministry of carpets. But yeah, I watched this really large documentary where a guy went into Turkmenistan. And he's like, I'm going to get the goods on what's going on in this country, and he's like looking over his shoulder. He's scared because it's a dictatorship. And in the end, he comes to understand that everyone's really happy. Like, it was like actually a pretty weirdly functioning country. So yeah.
Whatever floats your boat, I guess.
Yeah, you can't put your value system on other people. Is one of the main rules, or main lessons to be learned there, right? Oh my gosh, it's still snowing outside. Still happening.
I did that because as a cat, I hate snow.
Okay, cat boy.
And over in North Korea, you're not allowed to talk to locals at all. You have to stay with the tour guide at all times. Don't talk to locals.
Hilding Donaldson, you have a question?
I was just wondering if Frankie would be allowed to act like a gorilla or a lion in Turkmenistan.
No. Because no internet's allowed.
Frankie, how do you get information about the weather to the people in Turkmenistan?
They don't, because that means the internet's off limits, period.
Yeah, good point. Well, what about your world tour? Do you plan to go to Turkmenistan on your world tour, Frankie?
You have to be mighty careful.
To be mighty careful, and I guess unfortunately you would not be allowed to steal any Wi-Fi in Turkmenistan.
There's no Wi-Fi either.
Just steal it from a McDonald's on the border, right across the border there.
Or bring your own like internet, like portable internet device.
It
That's
is
a
currently
solid
snowing.
dusting.
It's currently snowing here in Wells, yes, and there you go, everybody. So that's
What's your temperature?
Coming to the end. I don't know, probably around 97.
If you want to follow me on social media, my blue sky is at Frankie MacD. My Twitter is at Frankie MacD. My link tree is Frankie MacDonald. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD984. My TikTok is FrankDon984. My Clapper is FrankDon984. My Twitch is FrankDon984. My Snapchat is FrankMacDon. My YouTube channel stocks rules and my link is FrankDon. Best luck to you. I'm Frank Don. You're listening to Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic.
It's 2-1 Oilers right now at the end of the first period.
They're playing the Canucks, right?
Yes,
you guys can catch me on CKW on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. for an epic 1 hour and a half energy mix, awesome melodic music. And you can also follow me at Weather Center Manitoba and South MB Weather on Twitter.
This show is on C4 88.7 FM in Prince George, CKUW 959 in Winnipeg, CFBX 92.5 in Kamloops, and you are hearing us, watching us, viewing us with your naked eyeballs on Rogers Television in Vancouver Island and various locations as well. So I am Joey Only, the host of the show. With us tonight has been, of course, Frankie MacDonald, the man of the show. He is the star of the show. The show started when Frankie and I said to Frankie one day, Frankie, you want to start a show? And he said, good idea. Sunday night, and that's what we did at the time. It was Sunday night at the time. We also had, of course, the man Brandon Hauka. He's been very sick. I think he's got the plague or something. I don't know. We're quite worried for Brandon. He left the show early to go to the hospital or something, I think. I don't know. Good luck, Brandon. We hope you make it through.
Hopefully I don't choke on popcorn here.
And we had Mark Engels, meteorologist Mark, who's moving to British Columbia very soon. I'm quite happy about that. And Hilding Donaldson, who's already in British Columbia. I'm quite happy about that, my good friend Hilding Donaldson. And Michael McGregor down there, other side of Canada, not all the way to the other side like Frankie is, but he's somewhere right there in the middle out there in Manitoba.
Winnipeg.
That, I think, I don't know, Frankie, what do you think?
That's the show.
I think that's the show.
That's the show.
I heard that's the show. It seems like the time for the show has come to an end. Yes. Yes, I'm getting confirmation right now. That's the show. It's official.
Heads up, here comes the next one. There's a lot of flaming shit flying off. Mostly going the right way. See some wisps of burning shit in the air though. Ow. Burning him.
169. Hey, Iverson, actually, I'm going to need you to make back your way to staging. We're not going to be able to have a holding crew over there, so keep yourself at staging there and stand by. Thanks.
Yeah, we just met up with the smoke jumpers. We're just pulling out right now. Yeah, we're on our way back to staging.
And this is bad. This is really bad, man. Yeah! Awesome. So we're right on top of a mountain at 1,300 meters almost. It's not a good place to be now with the lightning coming. As we run away. Fantastic mammatus clouds at the end of this severe storm that just went through Vanderhoof. Toonie-sized hail was in some of it. We've seen pea-sized hail, definitely.